It's like a different model of fighter than we had ever seen in the heavyweight division before. Fucking destroyer, man, where every fight was an execution.
These knockouts looked unreal. 1 second, his opponent stood there full of confidence, and the next, their body simply shut down.
Williams in their training camps, and he was quoted as saying not too many weeks ago that
some fighters spent their entire lives chasing a title shot, only to get knocked out in less than a minute.
Destroying people because I thought he was better than me. I'm gonna fucking destroy you, motherfucker. I see him with his wife and his family and his mother and his father. I don't have that. I'm envious, jealous. I'm gonna kill him. I want to his ass in front of his wife. You.
In this video, we're breaking down the most brutal and terrifying power shots Mike Tyson ever landed on camera. Punches so violent that an entire division started fearing one man. Keep the kids away from the screen, because this video contains an insane amount of violence. And before we begin, I've got one small favor to ask. Please subscribe to the channel. Let's hit 1,000 subscribers, and I promise to keep bringing you high-quality content. Subscribed? Perfect. Because now, it's time for our first case of pure violence. Mike Tyson versus Joe Cortez. It all started back in amateur boxing, when a young Mike Tyson was only beginning to transform into the destruction machine the world would later fear. His opponent was Joe Cortez, and this fight ended faster than most people could even understand what happened.
My best way of psychological intimidation is by a physical force. Someone upsets Mike Tyson punches him in the face.
No feeling out process, no caution. The second the bell rang, Tyson exploded forward. Young Mike stormed at his opponent like a hurricane, and then one punch completely shut the lights out. Joe collapsed onto the canvas completely motionless. It was so bad the referee didn't even bother counting.
Come back and do something, and there's a left and a right, and that's all they wrote.
The fight was stopped instantly, and Tyson was declared the winner. Right after that moment, people realized something terrifying. Boxing had just discovered a man capable of ending fights before they even began. Mike Tyson versus Sterling Benjamin. This fight lasted 53 seconds.
This to me is prime Tyson, other than winning the title at 20, which was prime too. But this is Mike Tyson when he was just at his fucking most destructive best.
From the opening bell, Tyson took the center of the ring and immediately started pressuring his opponent. Then came the attack. Mike fired a short left hook straight into the jaw. The scary part? The punch didn't even look powerful. No giant swing, no dramatic wind-up. But the effect looked like Benjamin had been switched off with a button. He crashed onto the canvas instantly. After the knockdown count, Tyson gave him absolutely no time to recover. Mike rushed forward and unloaded a 12-punch combination. Most of the shots landed on the guard, but even through the defense, you could see how destructive the attack was. The referee was already preparing to stop the beating. But right before stepping in, Tyson smashed Benjamin with a horrifying liver shot. Benjamin folded to the floor again. This time, he never got back up. Mike Tyson versus Clifford Etienne. After prison, people said Tyson was finished. They claimed the speed was gone. The aggression disappeared. The old monster no longer existed. But that night in Memphis, Tyson reminded the world exactly who he was. The fight started in complete chaos. Both fighters immediately launched into a wild exchange. During one of the brawls, Etienne hit the canvas, but Tyson also briefly dropped to a knee at the exact same moment. Both men instantly jumped back up and marched forward with zero fear. At one point, Etienne even landed a huge right hand directly on Tyson. For a second, it looked like the fight could turn into a brutal war. Then Mike unleashed the very speed that once terrified the entire heavyweight division. One short combination, one explosive exchange, and a final right hand directly on the chin. Etienne crashed flat onto his back in the middle of the ring and never got up again. 49 seconds. That's all Tyson needed to remind the world that even after every downfall in his life, he was still one of the most terrifying punchers in boxing history. Mike Tyson versus Michael Johnson.
And you're gonna say that before you leave this earth, that you have a chance to have another heavyweight champ that might be the best could be one of the best ever and could break Patterson's record, which was part of the plan. Part of the plan when Cuss was alive, you're going to break Patterson's record. He broke it. He became the youngest heavyweight champion.
This fight became a perfect example of how dangerous Tyson was at every distance. From the opening seconds, Mike moved his head beautifully, slipping under punches with ease. Johnson kept trying to land something, but Tyson looked like he was reading his movements ahead of time. Then came the explosion. Mike suddenly closed the distance and slammed a left hook directly into the ribs. The punch was so heavy that Johnson visibly broke from the pain. He dropped to the canvas, gasping for air, and somehow, he got back up. You could see Michael Johnson's toughness in that moment. Despite the pain and damage, he continued fighting. But the problem was simple. The man standing across from him could instantly sense weakness. Tyson already knew the prey was broken. Right after the count, Mike stormed forward again. No pause, no mercy. Seconds later, he detonated a monstrous right hand. Johnson's head snapped backward, and his body collapsed onto the canvas. 39 seconds. Another devastating knockout added to Iron Mike's collection. Mike Tyson versus Lou Savarese. On June 24th, 2000, Tyson needed only 37 seconds to destroy his opponent. From the very beginning, the difference in level was obvious. Mike moved faster, punched sharper, and looked like he wanted to finish the night immediately. And that's exactly what he did. Almost instantly, Tyson exploded with a violent attack and dropped Savarese with a brutal knockdown. But the scariest part happened afterward. The second Lou tried to continue, Tyson began hunting him across the ring. Mike marched forward non-stop, throwing punch after punch with terrifying aggression, as if he wanted every shot to erase his opponent from existence. The referee quickly realized where this was going. A few more unanswered punches, and this could have become a real tragedy. So the referee jumped in and stopped the beating. Mike Tyson versus Robert Collet. Now let me show you one of those fights where you truly understand how terrifying Tyson's speed and aggression really were. From the opening seconds, Collet tried to stay cautious. He worked behind a long jab and attempted to keep Tyson at a distance. But against young Tyson, distance meant almost nothing. Mike instantly closed the gap and launched a heavy 1-2 combination upstairs. A left hook followed immediately and nearly ended the fight right there. Then Tyson suddenly exploded with another left hook directly to the jaw. Collet collapsed onto the canvas instantly as the referee began counting. 35 seconds. That's all Mike needed to destroy an amateur heavyweight champion. Mike Tyson versus Marvis Frazier. What happens when Mike Tyson faces the son of the legendary Joe Frazier? Nothing special. Because from the very first second, Mike came to destroy him.
When you fought Marvis Frazier on, what is that, ABC Wide World of
Yeah,
Sports?
remember those days? The ABC had fights?
I remember watching that fight going, holy shit. Holy shit, that was like being locked into a ring with a tornado.
Tyson exploded forward with a vicious right uppercut directly to Frazier's head, then immediately began smashing him into the ropes with heavy combinations. Marvis tried escaping the pressure, but made one fatal mistake. He backed himself into the corner, and that's where Tyson unleashed an execution. First came a terrifying right uppercut. Frazier's legs buckled instantly. He was barely standing. But the second Marvis tried straightening up, Tyson fired another uppercut. His head snapped backward like a football. And while Frazier was already collapsing, Tyson still managed to land 2 more punches. A right hook to the jaw and a left to the temple. Marvis folded in the corner like a rag doll. The referee started counting, but by the 5th second, it was obvious. The fight was over. Marvis Frazier had been completely destroyed.
But Mike Tyson, in his prime, in those years from like, what was it, like 86, 87 to 89, 90, whatever those years were, where he was just storming the gates, I put that Mike Tyson up against anybody who ever lived. That guy was
Mike Tyson versus Frank Bruno. And finally, the cherry on top. Mike Tyson versus Frank Bruno. One of the most intense battles of Iron Mike's career. Unlike many opponents, Bruno wasn't just physically strong. He genuinely had dangerous punching power. Many believed the British heavyweight could give Tyson serious problems. And early in the fight, it actually looked that way. Bruno boxed carefully, used his jab, and occasionally landed hard counters of his own. But the biggest problem was simple. Against Tyson, you couldn't afford even one mistake. Mike slowly dismantled Bruno's defense through non-stop pressure. He slipped under punches, closed distance constantly, and forced Bruno into an exhausting pace. Round by round, the Brit looked more tense and exhausted. Then came the finish in round 3. Tyson suddenly exploded with a brutal barrage of punches. Bruno tried covering up against the ropes, but Mike smashed through the defense with violent hooks and uppercuts. Several clean shots completely shattered Bruno's resistance. Frank started losing balance. His legs stopped supporting him. Tyson continued the assault until the referee finally stepped in and waved the fight off. Another title defense for Mike Tyson, and another reminder of how terrifying he became the moment he sensed an opponent breaking mentally.